Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you're a restaurant owner, a culinary manager, or really anyone running a high-pressure commercial kitchen, you already know your margin for error is, well, it's razor thin. You're dealing with insane dinner rushes, strict health compliance, and that constant drive to protect your profit margins. But there's a hidden threat literally lurking right beneath your feet that can bring the whole shebang to a screeching halt. So today, we're opening up the playbook on commercial kitchen drain maintenance. We're going to break down exactly how to protect your operations, your food safety, and ultimately, your bottom line.
Okay, let's dive into this because I want to ask, what really causes a kitchen to shut down? It's incredibly tempting to think drain failures just happen overnight, right? We kind of imagine this single catastrophic event, someone drops the wrong thing down the sink, and boom, the kitchen is flooded. But honestly, that's one of the biggest myths in restaurant operations. If you're waiting for a sudden, massive blockage before you think about your plumbing, you're already way too late.
Because here's the reality. It's rarely a sudden clock. It's the slow, silent buildup. Think of your kitchen's plumbing like its cardiovascular system. Just like human arteries, your pipes don't usually get blocked all at once. Grease, food particles, everyday debris, they act a lot like cholesterol. They coat the walls of your plumbing, slowly and silently choking off the flow, day after day, week after week. It's this invisible accumulation that eventually triggers those nightmare backups and foul odors that can literally shut your doors right in the middle of a Friday night rush.
To make sure you never have to face that scenario, we've structured this playbook into 6 parts. We'll cover 1. The silent kitchen threat. 2. The big 3 culprits. 3. The preventative maintenance playbook. 4. Controlling the human element. 5. Chemistry and documentation. And finally, 6. Calling in the pros.
So, let's start with part 1, the silent kitchen threat, or as I like to call it, the invisible danger.
To really understand this danger, we have to reframe how we view plumbing issues. We need to look past the shiny visible surfaces of the kitchen and understand how minor, completely unnoticed accumulations snowball into massive compliance violations. I really want to emphasize this core truth pulled straight from our source guide. Commercial kitchen drain problems rarely start with a catastrophic clog. When you finally start noticing foul odors lingering near the dish pit, or heaven forbid, water starts pooling around a floor drain, those aren't the beginnings of a problem. No way. Those are the final desperate symptoms of a long-ignored illness. By the time you can smell it or see it, that buildup has been hardening for a long, long time.
Which brings us to part 2, the big 3 culprits. Knowing your enemy.
If we want to stop this enemy, we have to know exactly what's entering our drains and causing these expensive blockages. It basically boils down to 3 main drivers: grease buildup, starches and food solids, and improper disposal habits. Fats and oils are particularly nastier because they don't just sit there. They solidify inside the pipes, restricting water flow and creating these incredibly sticky surfaces. And once that sticky grease layer forms, every passing piece of starch or food solid inevitably gets trapped right there. It's a compounding problem that just feeds on itself.
So, the absolute cornerstone of your defense is how you manage your grease interceptor. This thing is designed to catch that grease and those solids before they can get in and destroy the wider wastewater system. But here's where so many operators mess up. Interceptor maintenance absolutely has to be based on your actual use, not just some arbitrary calendar date, right? If your kitchen does heavy frying, high-volume dishwashing, or a ton of batch cooking, your interceptor needs way more frequent servicing than, say, a light prep cafe down the street.
And when we talk about handling this, the method really matters. On one side, you have proper handling, which means professional cleaning and correct disposal. On the other side, you have dangerous makeshift tactics. Like pouring boiling hot water down the drain to quote-unquote melt the grease to flush out the solids. Guys, that tactic is a total disaster waiting to happen. Hot water melting simply liquefies the grease just long enough to push it further downstream. And what happens when the water cools? That grease hardens again, creating a much worse, much harder to reach blockage deep inside your pipes.
All right, moving to part 3, the preventative maintenance playbook, building a routine.
Avoiding these massive headaches requires shifting from a reactive mindset to a proactive one. You've got to treat drain care as a strict operational routine, exactly like taking inventory or wiping down the line. As the owner's guide highlights so perfectly, consistency matters more than complex systems. You don't need an engineering degree to keep your drains clear. You just need short, repeatable tasks that are baked right into your kitchen's daily workflow.
And this brilliantly illustrates what that consistency looks like in practice. Daily, check those sink strainers, clear out the solids promptly, and verify your interceptor lids are actually secure.
Weekly, do a visual inspection of your drain runs for slow drainage or residue and ensure your floor washdown practices aren't just sweeping junk right into the grates. Monthly, sit down, review your maintenance logs, and evaluate if your grease handling frequency still matches your actual kitchen output. Simple daily actions absolutely prevent monthly disasters, for sure.
Next up, Part 4, Controlling the Human Element, Training Your Staff.
Look, you can have the most perfectly engineered plumbing system in the world. You can have properly sized interceptors and top-of-the-line pipes, but if the daily habits of your kitchen staff aren't managed, that system will fail. Your back-of-house rules have to be ironclad. So here's your rapid-fire staff training checklist that has to be hammered home during onboarding and shift refreshers. Number 1, scrape plates before rinsing. Drain excess liquids. Empty food waste directly into bins. Keep those strainers in place. Never, ever remove them just to make the water drain faster. And absolutely never dispose of fryer oil in the sinks. Controlling what enters the system at the source is the single best way to stop solids from becoming clogs.
As a manager, you need to watch your staff most closely in the high-risk zones. We're talking the dish room pre-rinse sinks, mop sink connections, and any prep sinks near your battering or thawing stations. These specific areas are basically ground zero for generating the heaviest starch and solid loads. Keep your eyes on these zones and you'll catch bad habits way before they turn into massive plumbing bills.
Let's look at Part 5, Chemistry and Documentation. Tracking the unseen.
Tracking the unseen stuff in your kitchen is just as critical as managing the food waste you can actually see. But when it comes to drain chemistry, not all treatments are created equal. Safe chemistry means deploying enzymatic or bacterial products exactly as directed, making sure they're compatible with your interceptor, and keeping your safety data sheets on file. But then there are the dangerous tactics, aggressive chemical dumping or, quote, power washing the drains. Let me tell you, aggressive chemical dumping usually backfires big time. It often just burns through the very top layer of residue, leaving the underlying deposits perfectly intact to re-cement even stronger than before. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
Alongside safe chemistry, you absolutely need documentation. A simple maintenance logbook is your best diagnostic tool. By tracking the date, the specific issue, the action taken, and contractor notes, you start to see the real patterns. Spotting trends in a log like this reveals the true root of the issue. Are your backups caused by sloppy habits during a crazy Saturday night rush, or does the log reveal a mechanical failure like improper pipe slope or venting problems? You simply can't fix what you don't track.
And finally, Part 6, Calling in the Pros, When to Escalate.
Even with a flawless playbook, you have to know your critical fail-safes. You need to recognize exactly when it's time to put down the DIY tools and bring in licensed sanitation professionals. Here are the warning signs that a blockage has moved beyond the visible interceptors. If you're seeing recurring backups, persistent odors that normal cleaning won't solve, standing water, or if drains consistently slow down during peak service hours, escalate it immediately. Also, keep an eye out for sudden changes after menu shifts. Say you just added a bunch of heavy fried items to the menu, while your current system might just not be equipped to handle that new grease load without a professional adjustment.
As we wrap up this playbook, remember the ultimate bottom line here. A proactive maintenance schedule will always cost less than emergency, middle-of-the-night plumbing interventions and the compliance disruptions that come with them. Prevention protects your food safety. It protects your restaurant's reputation from embarrassing dining room odors. And most importantly, it protects your profit margins way better than panic ever will.
Your ultimate operational goal should always be zero. Zero catastrophic clogs, zero health compliance disruptions, and zero unplanned downtime. By committing to routine checks, strict interceptor discipline, and rigorous ongoing staff training, zero isn't just a dream, it's an entirely achievable metric.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative question to take back to your own operations today. Look past the shiny stainless steel of your prep line and ask yourself, is your kitchen's cardiovascular system genuinely healthy, or is it silently building toward a shutdown? The actionable steps you take after this explainer will be the answer to that question.